Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this final part on our Axis and Allies 1914 research and development. And in this episode, we'll be talking about the final row of developments and technologies. That is the late war tech, the late tech that were available roughly starting in 1916 and available starting in round 3 of the game. So we have number 1, bombers. Tanks, optional for France and Britain to start with. Medical treatment, anti-aircraft guns, and then shock troops, optional for Germany and Italy to start. And of course, researcher's choice. So let's go through talking about how each of these work. So we'll start over here with bombers. So, bombers are essentially meaning that you now have access to like those bomber aircraft like the Gotha bombers and whatnot. So you can strategically bomb targets. So it basically just means now that your fighters can now move 4 spaces instead of the regular 2, and their attack value is also increased to 4. The defense value stays at 2, but the attack is now 4. And in addition, they can use any remaining movement after combat to like land the plane, kind of like a small little non-combat move. That's similar. That's very that you'll see in the World War II versions of Axis and Allies. So let's see how this works. So let's say Germany has bombers, so they have 2 fighters here. So they're going to use them to attack Paris. So they can move 4 spaces. 1, 2 to Paris. This is all during the combat move. And they're going to both attack at 4. And then they would attack the French units. Now, since they are fighters, the land units could not participate, but it can still be taken as casualties. So only the fighter would participate, and they would defend like normal. They'd have a air battle, and then any remaining attacks by the fighters. So they'd have an air battle, right? So like the 2 of them would roll, and he would roll by himself. And if they take him out, great. Any remaining shots, so let's say he rolls, takes him out. He also rolls a hit. That means he can take out one of these. Now, if the fighter wasn't even there, they would both roll, and then either of their hits would just go straight to the land units. So that's how bombing runs. And then after the combat, they move 2 spaces, so they still have 2 more movement left because they have move at 4. So they would probably move 2 back to land. They could move 2 anywhere. They can only land in a territory that's controlled or contested by a friendly power. Sorry, this should be a German roundel here. And they can move 4 spaces. So for example, another quick example, they can go 1, 2, attack these ships. And the ships would not be able to defend. So they would both roll. They would probably, let's say they hit the battleship. Let's say they take out the battleship. Now, since they're air units, the transport would stay. I mean, if they had 3 hits, then they would take out the transport as well. But yeah, it's just like a bombing run. Actually, no, I'm sorry, that's not right. They would actually take out the transport as well. It is, sorry, I'm thinking of Zeppelin, the airship raids. In that example, the transports would stay because they're bombing from such a high distance that they don't know. But yeah, with the bombers, they would take out any remaining the transports would be killed automatically. So let's just take another quick example of the 4 movement. So, like I said, you can move 2 to attack and then 2 to land. Or you can just move 4 directly. You can go over enemy territories. You cannot go over neutral territories. So let's say you wanted to land in friendly controlled Venice. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't go 1, 2, 3. You can't go through Switzerland. You have to go around it. You can go this way, either way. So let's say we want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, those are bombers. Up next is tanks. Really simple. You can now build tanks. So yeah, this overrides the rule, the out-of-box rule, where tanks are available starting in round 4 for every country. Well, no, in this, with research and development, you can only build tanks if you develop the tank technology. And tanks work exactly like they do in the regular game. It's just you need to get the development in order to produce them. Alright, number 3 is medical treatment. So this means your troops have access to better medicine, medical care, ambulances, and so on. So let's say Russia has medical treatment. So at the end of the combat phase, you get to return up to 3 of your infantry casualties and return them to your capital territory. So for example, let's say these are all the units that Russia suffered or lost during their attacks. So let's say they attacked Austria and Ottomans and Germany. So they lost all these units. Well, since they have medical treatment, they can return up to 3 of their units and put them back on their capital. So we have artillery, those don't count. So we have 5 infantry that were lost, so we can return 3 of them. So, sorry. And this one here. I'm going to return those 3, and we would put them directly on the Russian capital. This is right after combat. So basically the same time when you do mobilization, you put them right back up on the capital, ready to go again. All healed and patched up. Alright, the next one is anti-aircraft guns. So basically you have access to AA guns. So basically now your artillery are going to defend against enemy planes, and they can target fighters before combat begins, hitting at a 1 or less. So how does that work? Let's get our German planes back. So in the bombing example, say the Germans want to attack London from the air. Well, there would be the air battle, so the British fighter would defend, but in addition to the British artillery, they would also defend, and they hit at a 1 or less. So they would all be defending against the German fighters. Now this also applies if, let's say, Germany was also attacking from the land, and it's like a normal battle. So even like a normal land battle, where there's still the plane battle, the air battle for air superiority, the artillery would help out the defending fighters, hitting at 1 or less. And if the British don't even have a fighter, they can still participate. The fighters still have to, the artillery get like a chance to take out the fighters before they get air superiority. And if they do, then the fighters will be eliminated. No air superiority for the Germans. But if they don't take them out, then let's say there's 1 remaining, then they're still going to get air superiority. But yeah, it definitely helps out. So that's anti-aircraft guns. And our last one is shock troops. So these represent like shock troops, assault troops, trench raiders, the famous German stormtroopers. So how does that work? So basically, it's similar to the pre-artillery strikes for amphibious assault. So it's like a pre-infantry strike. So when attacking before any combat, the attacking infantry can make a preemptive strike. The attacker rolls a die for each one, and for any hits, they all roll 2 or less, and then the defender has to remove any casualties, any hits that are made, and then afterwards, a normal combat would be resolved, and all the units would participate, including the infantry that already attacked. So, let's say Germany has shock troops and they're attacking the Russians in Poland. So, they can do their shock troop attack, their preemptive strike. They have 6 infantry, which means they get to roll 6 preemptive strikes, all at 2 or less. And they got pretty good. They got 4 hits. So the Russians automatically lose 4. They don't get a chance to strike back or anything. They automatically lose 4 before any combat even occurs. So, after the preemptive strike, now we can do normal combat. So, all the German units are going to participate again, including the 6 infantry and the 3 artillery. So they would all participate. Let's say we got so those are the 3 artillery and the 3 boosted infantry. So we got 4 hits there, that's enough. And then let's say the 3 other infantry got another hit there. And then now the 2 defending Russians, they got 2 hits. So yeah, so the Russians were eliminated and the Germans lost just 2 units. So that's shock troops. Very useful, very helpful in attacks. And that is it. That's all 5. So yeah, we have gone through all the technologies. So I really hope you enjoyed this series, and hope you enjoy this house rule. Hope you guys can have fun with it. Please comment what you think. Like the video if you like it. Let me know if you have any questions. I really hope you guys can enjoy using these rules in the future. I really enjoyed this project. It was really a big passion of mine. But yeah, hope you enjoy it. So look forward to seeing you soon. Look forward to my next video and what's coming up next. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.